Good morning, dear students. In the previous classes, we have learnt about fertility and measures of fertility. Now we are going to learn, that is, today we are going to learn with mortality. Now let us know what is mortality. Mortality refers to death occurring in the population. Mortality refers to the death occurring in the population. That death may be due to the number of sickness, such number of causes such as sickness, accident, old age, etc. You may know that you have seen that deaths occur due to sickness, accident, old age, and be due to many other reasons. So how to measure this mortality, or how to measure the mortality rate of a population? So here there are 6 measurement of mortality rates. So we will see today what are the measures of mortality rate. The first measure is crude death rate, CDR, age specific death rate, ASDR, standardized death rate, STDR, infant mortality rate, IMR, neonatal mortality rate, NMR, maternal mortality rate, MMR. So there are 6 measurement of mortality rates. First one is crude death rate. In fertility you have seen about crude birth rate. So similarly crude death rate. In mortality, age specific death rate, you have seen age specific birth rate in fertility. So in death rate or in mortality rate, we are going to learn about age specific death rate, standardized death rate. And fourth one, infant mortality rate, IMR, neonatal mortality rate, and maternal mortality rate. Now let us deal into detail what are the measurements of this mortality rate. Now let us move into the first one, crude death rate. In the measurement of fertility, we have studied crude birth rate, where we have considered number of live births, total population, and multiplied with the 1000. Similarly here we are going to consider number of death rates in the place of number of live births. That is the difference between CBR and CDR. So in CBR, that is the measurement of fertility, crude birth rate, we used to consider the number of live births. In the place of crude death rate in calculation of mortality rate, we are going to consider the number of deaths. So what does the definition say? Definition says that the average number of deaths occurring in the year per 1000 individual. It is defined as the average number of deaths occurring in the year per 1000 individuals. And the formula is given as CDR is equal to number of deaths occurring in the year divided by average population in the year into 1000. So CDR is equal to D. D is nothing but represents the deaths per 1000 individuals divided by P. P is nothing but the average population in the year into 1000. Next we shall see what are the merits of this crude death rate. Crude death rate, it is simple to understand and easy to calculate. The merits of crude death rate is it is simple to understand and easy to calculate. Second one, it requires only the total number of deaths and the average population. It requires only the total number of deaths and the average population. Third one, it indicates the rate of decrease of population due to deaths. It indicates the rate of decrease of population due to deaths. So these are the 3 merits of crude death rate. Next we shall see on demerits. What are the disadvantages of crude death rate? It is an overall figure which does not give importance to age and sex distribution of the population. It will not give the distinct difference between the age and the sex distribution of the population. Next, second one, it cannot be effectively used for the comparison of mortality of a different population. It cannot be effectively used or comparison of mortality of different populations. Next, we shall move on to the example problems. In the year, the average population of a town was 65,51,000. The number of deaths occurred in that year in the town was 61,931. Find the crude birth rate. So they have given the total population. It was 65,51,000. And number of deaths, it is 61,931. So D is given, P is given. D is equal to 61,931 and P is equal to 65,51,000. So substitute those, you will get CDR. CDR is equal to 9.5 deaths per 1000 population. So CDR is equal to 9.5 deaths per 1000 population. Second, example 2. In a year, the crude death rate for the population of 3 lakh is 8. Find the number of deaths. So now there is a slight change in the question. They have given the population and CDR they have given. You need to calculate the number of deaths, that is D you need to calculate. So total population is given 3 lakhs and CDR is equal to 8. So substitute the given formula. CDR is equal to D divided by P into 1000. D value is not given. CDR is 8. P is 3 lakh into 1000. So D is equal to 8 into 300, which is that therefore the number of deaths is 2400. Next, example third. Calculate CDR for the following data. Calculate CDR for the following data: age group, population and deaths they have given. So we shall move into the solution of this. Age group, population is given. What you need to do is you need to calculate total population and total deaths. So add the column of population and add the column of deaths. You will get a total population P and total deaths D. So formula already you know, CDR crude death rate is equal to D divided by P into 1000. So D value is 1120, P value is 98,000 into 1000, which is equal to 11.43 per 1000 individuals. Next, we shall move on to the second measure of death rate or mortality rate, that is age specific death rate. Age specific death rate. It is similar to age specific fertility rate. So in age specific fertility rate we used to consider the births, and in age specific death rates we are going to consider the deaths. That is the only difference between ASFR and ASDR. ASFR we used to consider the number of births, and in ASDR we are going to consider the number of deaths. So we shall see the formula, and it was for the particular sex composition was there. It was for only the female population. Here in ASDR, number of deaths formula, ASDR is equal to number of deaths in the specific age group in a year divided by average population in that age group in the year into 1000. So here average population comprises of both female as well as the male population. So it is nothing but a deaths with respect to TS divided by population with respect to the age group T into 1000. That is the formula how we calculate the age specific death rate. So it is defined as the average number of deaths occurring in a given age group per 1000 individuals in that age groups, or ASDR is equal to number of deaths in the specific age group in a year divided by average number of population in that age group in a year into 1000. So formula is DT divided by PT into 1000. Next we shall move on to the merits of age specific death rate. Age specific death rate, it considers age composition of the population. merits are it considers age composition of the population, and second one, it is used in the computation of standardized death rates, net reproduction rates and live tables. It is used in the computation of standardized death rates, net reproduction rates and live tables. Next, what are the demerits? What are the demerits of ASDR? Demerits of ASDR cannot be used for overall comparison of mortality conditions in two different regions. ASDR cannot be used for overall comparison of mortality conditions in two different regions. It ignores social and occupational factors. It ignores social and occupational factors. Next, we shall move on to the example problems. Calculate age-specific death rate of the age groups 15 to 25 years and 25 to 40 years from the following data. So students, we need to calculate here age-specific death rate for the age group 15 to 25 and 25 to 40 years. So the data given below is age group in years, population, number of deaths. So in ASFR we had separate population for female, but here it is not there. We are considering average population both comprising of male as well as female. So we know the formula ASDR for the age group 15 to 25, it is equal to the number of deaths in the age group 15 to 25 divided by total population in the age group 15 to 25 into 1000. So substitute, you see the corresponding death rate of the age group 15 to 25. So death rate is 600 divided by 30,000 into 1000, which is equal to 20. Next, you need to calculate ASDR for the age group 25 to 40. So see the corresponding death rate and see the corresponding population. First, write the formula. ASDR for the age group 25 to 40, it is equal to number of deaths in the age group 25 to 40 divided by total population in the age group 25 to 40 into 1000. So corresponding death is 400 divided by corresponding population is 28,000 into 1000, which is equal to 14.28, which is equal to 14.28. Now next example, find the age specific death rates. Find the age specific death rates. Age group in years it is given, population, number of deaths are given. Now how you are going to calculate age specific death rate? Already students, you have learned how you people have calculated in age specific fertility rate. In a similar way, one column will be added, that is ASDR. In ASFR you had added one column, so similarly in ASDR also you need to add one column. So age group in years, population, number of deaths and ASDR. So similarly you are going to do as you have done in ASFR here also. So number of deaths divided the number of population into 1000. So you will get a corresponding ASDRs. So age group from 0 to 9, population is 20,000 and number of deaths is 1000. So ASDR will be 50. For the age group 10 to 19, population is 15,000, number of deaths is 500, ASDR is 33.30. How do you get ASDR? 500 divided by 15,000 into 1000, which is equal to 33.30. Similarly for the next one, 200 divided by 10,000 into 1000, which is equal to 20. For the next one, 100 divided by 8000 into 1000, which is equal to 12.50. For the next one, 120 divided by 8000 into 1000, which is equal to 15. Similarly, 150 divided by 7000 into 1000, which will be equal to 21.40. Lastly, 1200 divided by 18,000 into 1000, which will be equal to 66.60. 66.60. So in this way we are going to calculate ASDRs. Next we shall move on to the third mortality rate, that is standardized death rate. So what is standardized death rate? You have learnt about now crude death rate and age specific death rate. So now crude death rate and age specific death rate cannot be used for comparing the death rates of two or more population, because crude death rate we are not going to consider age and sex composition, and in age specific death rate we are not going to get one single value for making comparison. For each age group the death rate will be differing. So in order to make the comparison of death rates of two or more population, we are going to calculate a standard death rate, that is STDR. So students, what is the difference? What is the main motive to calculate standard death rate? It is a crude death rate will not give you the correct information regarding since we are not going to consider age and sex composition in CBR, and in age specific death rate we doesn't give a single value, whereas age specific death rate varies from age group to age groups. But in standard death rate we are going to calculate or compare the death rates of two or more population. So let us see what is the definition of it. STDR, it is the weighted average of ASDR, that is age specific death rate of population, by taking standard population as weights. So here first we are going to calculate ASDR in the problems. First we are going to calculate ASDR of the population, and then we are going to consider the standard weight of the population, and then we are going to calculate a standard death rate. So how to calculate this standard death rate? First of all, two population will be given. Out of two population, any one population will be considered. So first of all, two population will be given. So if suppose the population of two towns, that is town A and town B, it is given, then if suppose the population of town A and town B it is given, how you are going to calculate the standard death rate? That is standard death rate of town A, it is equal to summation of P into A divided by summation of P. So you are going to calculate standard death rate for population for town A, it will be equal to summation P into A divided by summation P, and standard deviation for B it will be summation P into B divided by P, where P is equal to standard population, that will be given. A is equal to A specific death rate for population A, B it will be equal to A specific death rate for population B. Therefore a population which has STDR minimum, it is the healthy population. Next we shall move into the merits. What are the merits of STDR? It is good measure of mortality giving importance to age groups. It is the good measure of mortality giving importance to age groups, and it can be used for comparison of mortality of two or more population. It is good measure of mortality giving importance to age group, and secondly it can be used for comparison of mortality of two or more population. Next, what are the demerits of it? It requires standard population and it is difficult to select the standard population. It requires standard population and it is difficult to select the standard population. Second one, it is independent of age structure of standard population. It is independent of age structure of standard population. Next very important thing, that is the difference between CDR, that is crude death rate, and STDR, that is standard death rate. What is crude death rate? Here the population is used as weights. In CDR we are going to use population as weights, whereas in STDR the standard population is used as weights. When you solve the problems, you will be coming to know what is the standard population. So in CDR, the first difference between CDR and STDR is the population is used as weights and the standard population is used as weights. Second difference, it cannot be used for comparison of death rates of two or more population. As you have seen the formula of STDR, two formulas are there of two different towns. So CDR will not give the comparison of death rates of two or more population. So in STDR it can be compared. We can compare the death rates of two or more population. Next, third one, it requires less information. CDR requires less information, whereas STDR requires more information. So these are the three differences between CDR and STDR. I repeat, in CDR the population is used as weights, and in STDR the standard population is used as weight. Second one, in CDR it cannot be used for comparison of death rates of two or more population, and in STDR it can be used for comparison of death rates of two or more populations. And third one, it requires less information, and in STDR it requires more information. So I conclude today's class here itself, and in the next class we will be learning about the example problems of standard death rates, and next to remaining two mortality rates, and lastly it will be the life tables. So it will be the life tables, then we will be winding up this chapter. So students, kindly take down these example problems and study these definitions which are important, and by heart those formulas. Thank you.